Good evening and welcome to the Franklin Township Board of Education meeting. Today is Thursday, January 26, 2023. Mr. Bonanno, can we get a roll call, please?
Mr. Sy. Mr. Grippo.
Present.
Dr. Hopkins. Mr. Jackson.
Here.
Ms. Maris.
Here.
Mr. Shaban. Ms. Singh. Dr. Smith.
Here.
Ms. LaCourte.
Here. For the record, Ardeman said that she was going to be late today. Can you read the Open Public Meetings Act, Brian?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Sunshine Law, the copies of the public meeting were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tap Into Franklin, Franklin Township Clerk Manager, district schools, offices, and associations, PTO presidents, and posted on the district website.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn to confidential for the purpose?
Second.
Moved by
Bill.
Bill, seconded by Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is, or the purpose of the confidential session is workers' compensation settlement and a student personnel matter. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. So we will be back. Thank you. Good evening and welcome back. We were in executive session for the purpose of discussing confidential matters. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. Sammy, can you do the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mike, can you read the mission statement, please?
Mode. Conference will begin when you confirm by pressing star.
Absolutely. Franklin Township Public Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you. And this evening, we are welcoming our student liaison, Kaylin Platt. So, Kaylin, if you would like to go first and do your report.
Okay. Oh, so okay. Hello, my name is Kaylin Platt, and I am one of the students.
Speak into it, though. Like.
I'm sorry. Good? Okay. I'm one of the Student Government Board of Education liaison for this school year. Here's some of what is going on at Franklin High School. 1, Aspire High, a career and college readiness after-school program, is looking for more student members. Please reach out to Ms. Tomanchuk for more information. 2, the Guitar Ensemble and Orchestra Concert was January 19th at 7 p.m. in the FHS Auditorium. 3, we will be offering free physicals for any student that needs one for spring sport at Franklin High School on February 7th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Parents must fill out their portion of the physical packet prior to that night and bring it to the exam. Any questions, please reach out to the athletics office and ask. 4, Hispanic Honor Society applications are available in the Spanish Club Google Classroom. 5, the Valentine's Dance is coming. Bring your significant other or bring your best friend out to have a good time. The dance is February 10th from 7 to 10 p.m. in the gym. Tickets are $15 and will be sold in all lunches. 6, the 10th annual FBLA Talent Show will be Friday, February 17th. Come out to support Franklin FBLA and see all the talent our school has. Tickets will go on sale beginning February 10th in all lunches. 7, the Stock Market Club is holding open registration for the spring season until February 1st. Contact Mr. Friedman via email. 8, the pep rally is Friday the 27th and the final 2 blocks of the day, and each class should wear its class color. Seniors are pink, juniors are blue, sophomores are black, and freshmen are red. Let's show our warrior pride on Friday. 9, congratulations to the Latin students who won awards on the National Classical Etymology exam. 10, the student government has another member elected to the NJASC State Board. Anaria Buchan is executive member for publications. 11, The FBLA will be attending their state leadership conference at Harrah's in Atlantic City on March 6th through 8th. And 12, the FBLA is holding a fundraiser at Smashburger in North Brunswick this Friday, January 27th from 4 to 8 p.m. Be sure to mention Franklin FBLA when placing your order.
Is that it? Thank you very much. And now can I get a motion to adopt the agenda, please? Moved by Ardeman, seconded by?
Second.
Who?
Walter.
Walter. All in favor? Opposed? The agenda is now adopted. And now we are on to our Start Strong data presentation by Dr. Loughran.
So the screencast I'm showing now is embedded on our school website along with all of the slides that you can go through slowly. And you're invited to, of course, ask questions tonight, and you can also send questions to me, anyone who sees the presentation at home. So I'm just going to hit play. The technicians tell me we're good to go. Max sound. For curriculum and instruction, I wanted to take a moment to share with you results from our Start Strong fall administrations. Many of you have, well, all of you have by now received your individual score reports, but here we wanted to take a moment to share our district level outcomes. So Start Strong is a helpful tool in that it can help with some curriculum planning, scope and sequence adjustments that are needed, helps provide differentiation, and hopefully this information helps encourage further conversation with teachers and school leaders. But we will, at the end of this presentation, see how for some districts this is really their best opportunity for measuring progress, but we actually have more sophisticated tools even than Start Strong. Nevertheless, we find this to be a nice complement as it does help triangulate some data. So as you can see, it is a complement. It's administered quickly in the fall, provides immediate results to school leaders and teachers who have a chance to see that data. But it also does not replace our iReady or our Linkit assessments, which are actually a bit more comprehensive and granular. So here you can see the numbers of students who took the Start Strong assessment, and at each grade level in the fall, it actually samples a subset of the standards from the previous year. Unlike the NJSLA, which measures within year standards. So our math Start Strong, which again the same as last year, categorizes student outcomes as students who need more support, or some support, or less support. And as you can imagine, coming out of the pandemic, there still are large numbers of students who continue to need more support. So here is a graph for each of the grade levels and courses that show more support, some support, and less support needed. Here we break it down by subgroup demographic categories, and it shows more support, some support, and less support needed. Here are some additional subgroup categories by more support, some support, less support. And finally, those same percentages broken down in chart form. So as you can see, mathematics, just as we had discussed in the fall at the Board of Education presentation, which is a hands-on curriculum, is the area that needs the most support coming out of the pandemic. Science, similarly, hands-on learning, not surprising to see that we continue to still need strong support. You could see grade 6, 9, and 12, which again, were assessed on standards from the previous year. And so this is ethnographic, demographic subgroup data. You can see more support, some support, and less support. Here are additional subgroup categories and the support levels needed. And here are our English language arts results. Similarly, more support is in this column, some support right here, and less support. And as we presented in the fall, you see a more sort of evenly distributed support level need here, because even though clearly English language arts also is and has been disrupted by the pandemic, less so than the more hands-on math and science. So more support needed, some support, less support. Similarly, these demographic subgroup categories, there's the distributions. Here are the percentages again with additional subgroup data. And there are the percentages. Now, our district also uses iReady, which actually looks at all of the learning standards, not a subset. And it gives us very granular within-year data, which has been closely correlated to the outcomes we see each spring. So Start Strong, again, complements this, but doesn't replace this. And in fact, this gives us a little bit more information. So families are encouraged to ask teachers and school leaders about iReady and Linkit assessments as much as we're looking at Start Strong here today. These intervention strategies were presented in the fall. We've added them here again just to remind our families of what it is we're doing about our student outcomes. Here's science. Here's ELA K-5, ELA 6 through 12. And of course, additional information can be gained. Certainly always best to start with the teacher, but also school leaders like district supervisors and principals. Supervisors can be found at this URL right here on the Franklin website. And of course, you're welcome to contact me as well at dloughran@franklinboe.org. I hope this was helpful. And again, if there's any questions we can answer, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Loughran. That was really good. It was
You're welcome.
weird to kind of see your lips closed and you talking for a change. Does anyone have any questions? Sammy?
Yeah. Hello? Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Loughran. Can we find this presentation online?
Yes, where
'Cause
tonight's board agenda is, there's presentations, it's right there right now.
We both tried to look for it. We couldn't find it.
It's on a page called presentations. If you look at the top, where it says Board of Education meetings, there's another page that says Board of Education presentations.
So anyway, is it possible to link it to the agenda maybe in the future or something, just to make it easier?
Fine. Sure.
Because again, I had a really hard time following the video presentation. Did you, we're still looking for it?
Yeah, I could summarize that it really reflected what was presented in the fall.
Okay.
It's very much in line with that.
Okay.
Honestly, the state requires that we give the Start Strong, so we do, and it's a data point, and it really confirmed what we already presented in detail in October.
Okay, and then so From this year, carrying on from last year, did we see any major shifts or changes?
You see a little bit of a shift of less support needed, but, there's still plenty of support needed. The 2 years of disrupted learning are still certainly with us. We're accelerating and doing the best we can, but slightly better than last year, but, not categorically, I would say.
Okay. And are there any areas where we're performing worse this year than last year? So all on an upward trajectory?
Yes.
Okay. And do we have evidence to show that the strategies that we're using, I guess, are working then? Is that the...
Yes. In fact, since you allude to last year we showed tremendous growth within our data, and we're showing that again. But when you do a Start Strong, it's the fall, and you're taking a handful of standards from the previous year, and you can imagine what that's like. A summer has gone by, you're taking this quick test, it's not even all the standards, but it was very much in line with what we saw in the previous spring's NJSLA. But yes, we're seeing growth, and all those acceleration strategies we've been promoting, they're starting to work, slowly but surely.
And how close are we to sort of the pre-COVID?
I guess that's an interesting thing to quantify, but I don't think we're close. Dr. Ravala, do you want to take a stab at that?
Sure. It's certainly not the last administration of the NJSLA, which is really what we would utilize to compare that, but that was last year. So we're estimating that we'll be a lot closer to pre-pandemic scoring with this administration of NJSLA. And the reason we would predict that is because we know a lot of the structures we had in place allowed us to show growth, and the presentation you witnessed in the fall, you saw growth in the presentation there, and that's our iReady data and our Linkit data, and iReady for sure correlates very closely to NJSLA. That's one of the reasons why we, as well as, God, I can't even imagine how many other districts at this point in New Jersey use iReady as their benchmarking tool. And I want to just travel back quickly. The Start Strong tool was a tool utilized because districts didn't have the benefit of NJSLA prior to last year. Last spring we've got it, but Start Strong was administered for the first time in the fall of 2021, because there was no prior 2021 NJSLA, so districts were without data, except our district wasn't, as well as a lot of other districts that have good internal measures. The state recognized that, okay, we're not going to have NJSLA, but there are a lot of districts that have good, solid internal measures that correlate to the state standards, but there are a lot of districts that don't. And so we, as a state, if we're not going to assess students in the spring of 21, we've got to do something in the fall of 21, especially for those districts that don't have any way of assessing where students might be in relationship to the standards. But with that said, that contract runs a little beyond what last fall did. So they are, and believe me when I tell you, we're a little bit concerned in districts like ours where we have good measures, that having another couple days dedicated toward testing is another couple days taken away from instruction. So, we argued at the state level that, maybe districts that have good internal measures don't necessarily need to use this, because as you can see, it's not nearly as granular as what Dan already showed back in the fall. So we did use it though, and we gave it to our kids, and we're not certainly going to put it aside. And how we're using it is we're looking at our granular data that you all saw, that's been on the website, that has shared with us the work we have to do, but is more numerical in nature, right? More numerical in nature, more empirical in nature. And take that information, and we took this information and as Dan said, triangulated the two and said, okay, we're on the right track, because, these kids that appear by Start Strong to need additional supports are kids that in iReady have scored below proficient, right? So it really was just, for our purposes and for districts like ours that have good, strong internal measures, it was just another tool to triangulate, to provide us with the confidence we need to know that we've got the right kids getting the additional supports that we need. That really is how we use the data. But, again, for districts that don't have any measure, kudos to the state for providing them with a tool, right? So it was helpful for us, probably more helpful for districts without any measures. And we do think, and based on the growth data we saw, we do think that we will do better this year on the NJSLA. I think we can predict that based on where we stand from our pre-test or benchmark that we give in the fall, and where we are currently based on the benchmarking we did after what we call Window 1. Window 1 is that time period in the beginning of the year before we assess again, and then we look at the data when we return from winter break. And actually, so everybody knows, now you've got me sidetracked, I apologize, but this is like what we do. We have our principals and our local building administrators work to develop a plan based on that data. Of course, they set goals at the beginning of the year, but then we meet with them. And when I say we meet with them, it's Dr. Loughran, myself, it's a team of supervisors, it's building principals, building leaders, and we bring them together and we take a look at what their goals and the goals they set at the beginning of the year. We take a look at what the data is telling us from Window 1 and mid-year, that end of Window 1 data, the mid-year data, and then we recalibrate and make adjustments to what we're doing. This year what we did differently, which I'm really proud of Dr. Loughran and director supervisors, building principals, and certainly no doing of mine, but all doing of theirs, is they not only did that, but locally at their schools, they're hosting data nights. And I'd encourage people to attend those. And what they're doing, and I think McAfee has had theirs so far.
There's been a number, and a lot of them have kind of coupled it with something that was already scheduled.
Right. And what is happening is they're presenting that data, that beginning of the year data, that mid-year data, the only NJSLA data they might have, the Start Strong data. They're putting it all together and they're saying, this is where we're seeing work needs to be done. And they're breaking it down even further and more granular, saying, in the mathematics area, we need to work on geometry, we need to work on, and then they're laying out a plan for parents as to how they're going to work with students in an attempt to get there and to promote growth. And why is that important? Because, the school needs to partner with the parents and needs to, and certainly don't take this terminology the wrong way, needs to educate the parents on what they're doing, so that the parents can support and work with students at times when we're not with them, so that, at the building level, we hope that that will promote even more growth. And then, of course, if it's promoting growth at the building level, then it's promoting growth at the district level, because if each building grows, then the entire district grows. And that's what's currently happening. And this will be the first year that we did those data nights, at least in my time that we've been here. And, kudos to you, Dan, and kudos to the directors, supervisors, principals, and everyone else who came together to put that out there. Because, again, this is a great thing to do, but, right, it's more powerful to do when we can get a bunch of people together in a room that have a vested interest in a particular place and say, hey, let's work on this together. So, sorry, I'm out.
No, great, thanks.
Well, thank you so much for all the work that you guys consistently do on behalf of the district. Really appreciate it, and the creativity and having data nights and things like that is really great. In the triangulation, did you find any anomalies? Did you find anything that was different than what you would have expected?
Our supervisors dig into, as Dr. Valle said, by grade level, by course. Even your question about how are we doing, it's a complicated one because it depends on what you're talking about. certain grade levels way ahead, some not where we want them yet. So I give you a better answer by putting you in touch with the math, English language arts supervisors. But yeah, they always find anomalies all the time, and that's when the coaches get excited. They go, what's going on here? And they make action plans to speak to that.
Okay, and then from our perspective, though, we have to look at it sort of district-wide. Relative to the goals that you had set, how are we trekking along relative to those goals that we're looking at? So we've noticed some improvement. Mm-hmm. Is that on target? Is that, because I know we need to quantify this at some point.
Yeah.
Are we close? Are we in the ballpark, or how do you see it?
Literally, we had every principal in this room actually meet with our supervisors, directors, and they presented a plan to Dr. Ravalli, and so they have their own goals per school. And yeah, they're on target with what they want to do. Different measures for different folks, but
by and large on target.
There's no, like you must be at whatever. It's here's a goal. This is what we're working on to get there. And so it's more organic that way from the principal leading their school.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sammy. Nishita, do you have anything? Lori?
No, thank you. I appreciate the explanation of the data nights. That's fascinating. I think that's really a great resource for the parents. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bill?
I was going to say before Sammy did I'm getting echo, that's why I don't mind my voice. When we meet on March 8th, I believe it is, we could look at goal number 4, rigorous programming, a little closer and see how we're progressing. Even further than what you said tonight, because Dr. Ravalli really clarified a lot of stuff tonight. I'd like to hear more about it, because
Sure.
we need to close the gap.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Mike? Dennis?
Just a statement. I guess I'm going to repeat myself over and over again in the sense that listen to the presentation that was in front of us, Dr. Ravalli. We're getting these kids through. It definitely takes a village, and it's a partnership. The words that I think I'm going to stick with this year, that the resources is out there to try to get these kids at a respectable level or above. I encourage the parents, the students, to take advantage of the resources that we have to offer in the district, so we can have that partnership so that we all can succeed.
Thank you. Walter?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Ardeman?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to tie it back to what you're saying. Actually, what we're all saying is that it really is everybody working together as a team. So it's the board working with administration, working with staff, working with parents, working with the community that is really taking the village. So thank you very much, Dr. Loughran.
Thank you.
Now we're on to our superintendent's report.
Thank you. First, middle school open houses. Families of our current 5th grade students are invited to attend the Franklin Middle School open house. A Franklin Middle School open house. There will be an event at each campus in February, and for families it's free to attend, or families feel free to attend either one to learn more about the middle school program and extracurricular activities that we offer at the middle school level. In the spring, our 5th grade students will be notified of their campus placement for next year, which will be consistent with years past, and they'll be invited to another event at that campus before the 23-24 school year begins. The SGS open house will take place on Thursday, February 9th, 2023 from 6:30 to 7:30, and the HSC open house will take place on Wednesday, February 15th, 2023 beginning at 6 p.m. And again, Your school assignment doesn't matter, whichever works best in your schedule, the program is the same, and you can hear about the programs that are offered at either one of those buildings. And then once you have your assignment, like we said, there will be another night closer to the opening of the 23-24 school year that will get you in your particular building at that point. I also want to make mention that we hosted a forum here today, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention it. We had visiting superintendents and a team of building leaders from all over the state sitting in this very room today, by the way, and they were here to hear about the work that's going on in our district about something we call in the educational world school belonging, and how students, giving students agency and voice, and how they connect with their school, and the kinds of things that we're doing in our buildings and in our program to help students to connect with their teachers in their school. Mr. Plummer, our supervisor of equity, did a fantastic job presenting the work that we're doing. Dr. Solomon was here, Dr. Loughran, myself. We also had 12 students from our high school. And those 12 students got to talk to, I think we had probably upwards to 50 visitors. And those students were interviewed in small groups by those folks to hear their perspective on what's been going on. And you know, really, it was a sort of, if you will, professional learning community that got together to provide an opportunity for districts across the state to take a look at some of what's happening here, so that maybe they can learn a little bit and take that back to their own district and see how that might generalize to their setting. So it was a unique opportunity for us here in Franklin, and we were quite proud of our students. They did a magnificent job. There was an administrator, a superintendent, a building leader that walked out of here at the end of the day and had anything to say other than your kids are magnificent. You know, we learned a lot about ourselves too, because part of that process, which I always find interesting, is to gain the feedback from folks who are hearing about what you're doing and share that feedback with you in an open, honest way. And believe me when I tell you, our colleagues are not afraid to share in an open, honest way. Once you get that feedback, to have a open discussion in front of them about, you know, what you learned and what you might be able to do to even further that sense of belonging for kids, and make sure they're connecting with their teachers and the curriculum and their everyday experiences in our schools. So, you know, we learned, and I'll tell you what we learned. We learned that we are on our way, but we also learned that we have a lot of work yet to do. And, you know, to quantify that is difficult, but we do also, and I want to mention this, we heard from our kids and we heard from the folks that visited us. The one thing that resonated with me, and I'll share this with the group here because I think you ought to be proud of it, is that our students have a voice. And, you know, not only do our students have a voice, but we listen from the board through the administration. Of course, we were talking about the high school, but I think that can probably generalize to most of our campuses, and that the culture that's being established in our schools is reactive to what the students are saying and what they need, which, you know, that was a really, I don't know how about you felt about that, Dan, but Dr. Loughran, sorry, but to me, you know, that was a compelling argument for the work that we're doing, and a compelling argument for the work that needs to continue to be done. And we've got to find, you know, a lot of different ways to be able to engage our students and get, you know, give them voice and give them agency and give them control over what we're doing. So to me, it was an amazing day. I wanted to share that with you all. You should be proud of your students. You should be proud of the work that's going on, and you know, and so now we'll move on, and we'll take what we learned today, and hopefully others from across the state will take what they learned, and it will make meaningful change, not only locally, but more widely. And then this month is School Board Recognition Month. So I just want to take a moment to recognize our school board members and to thank them for their dedication and continued support of our Franklin Township Public School District. Also, a special congratulations goes out to Miss Nancy LaCourte, School Board President, who earlier this month earned New Jersey School Board's recognition as a Master Board Member, meaning she has met a large number of training requirements, has attended numerous New Jersey School Board-sponsored events, has served throughout her tenure with utmost professionalism, and most importantly, has made many positive contributions to our local school community. Congratulations, Nancy, for meeting this wonderful milestone, and thank you for all of your support.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you very much.
And by the way, we do have cake.
Do you really?
We do.
Cool. Okay. Do that when I hit a diet. Okay. So the other night, on Tuesday night, to follow up on what John was saying, we were recognized by the Township Council, the board for New Jersey school boards. And this was like the first time I think we've ever been recognized as a board, and it felt really good. So you guys left before I had an opportunity to hobble over to you. And I mean, this doesn't belong to me. This belongs to the board. But perhaps it should be in the board office and share it with the board members. But it was really nice to be recognized. And again, it goes back to the board as a team, everybody working hard together and working for the right reasons, because we're all here for the kids. So that's the most important thing. So I'm going to go into student news. Recently, Elizabeth Avenue literacy coach, Ms. Treminsky, joined some of her students, EAS administration, and members of the EAS Positive Behavior in Schools team to award a $500 check to the Franklin Food Bank. This came about through fundraising efforts at the school. Students had been educated on the food bank through morning meetings and helped to raise funds by participating in Hat Day at the school. The PBIS team of Hamilton campus of Franklin Middle School recently ran the Spirit of the Warrior Expectation Contest. Students submitted some amazing work showing the expectations for student behavior in the cafeteria, bathroom, and hallway. These winners received a prize and had their posters showcased around our school. The winners were Kumar V. Liu, Angeli Monta Lopez, and Jada Bright. We recently received word that the Franklin High School junior Aroni Sharma, who was in the CTE program, achieved a high honor over the winter break. After 11 years in training, Ms. Sharma completed her... Go ahead.
She completed her Bharatnatyam Arangetharam.
Thank you. In India. This is a solo classical debut graduation after learning a number of dances. After completing her training in 9 pieces, she was able to perform on stage with a live orchestra in front of the audience. These stories and others will be featured in the Warrior Pride section of the website. And finally, for my report, I'd like everyone to join me in a moment of silence for the passing of Priscilla Yates, a Franklin Township teacher and grandmother of Cheryl Ortega, a pre-K teacher at McAfee. Ms. Yates was a special education teacher who worked in the district from 1978 until 1994, primarily at Hillcrest. Thank you. And that concludes the board president's report. And now can I get a motion to open public comment on agenda items only?
So moved.
So second.
You got that? All in favor? Opposed? Public comment on agenda items is now open.
Seeing no one, I make a motion to close public comments on
Seconded.
agenda items only.
Motion to close public comment by Ardeman, seconded by
Sammy.
Sammy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment on agenda items is now closed. And our committee and liaison reports, of which we've had a very busy month, that will be made available on the district website, and you can go find that under school board, and you will find our reports there. So now we're on to new business.
I would like to make a motion to move R1, monthly reports, M1, minutes of board meetings, A1, travel and related expense reimbursement, A2, affirm harassment, intimidation, and bullying decisions, A3, appointments, A4, School Board Recognition Month, A5, African American History Month recognition, A6, SSDS report submission, A7, school calendar, 2023-2024 calendar amendment, A8, equivalency application, A9, donations, a donation of $6,000 grant from Special Olympics, donation of $6,253 from the Franklin Township Warrior Education Foundation, a donation of $1,500 from Empower Somerset, all under A9, A through C. A10, Crisis Management Emergency Quick Reference Staff Manual. A11, Approve School Connected Organization. A12, Facility Use. A13, Revised Policies Second Reading. A14, Revised Policies First Reading. A15, Revised Regulation Adoption. A16, New Regulation Adoption. A17, Long-Term Suspension. A18, YMCA, AKA Partnership. B1, Warrants and Payrolls. B2, Financial Reports. B3, Contract Approval, A through E. B4, Change Orders, none at this time. B5, QPA, Award of Contracts for fiscal year 2023-2024. B6, Authorize the use of competitive contracting. B7, Fiscal year 2023 Application for Temporary Instructional Space Use. B8, State Aid. C1, Out-of-District Student School Year 2022-2023. C2, Field Trip Destinations. C3, Field Trip Applications, A through C. C4, Accept ESEA Consolidated Carryover Grant Fund for fiscal year 2022. C5, Submission of ESEA Consolidated Grant to include carryover grant funds. C6, Approval of Minor Curriculum Adjustments. C7, Memorandum of Understanding Amendment. C8, New Courses. C9, Course Name Change. C10, Course Revision. C11, Pilot Expansion. C12, Approve Math Textbook. P1, Workman's Compensation Settlement. P2, Revised Job Description. P3, Create Position. P4, New Job Description. And P5, Personnel Report Number 7, dated Jan 27th, 2022.
Thank you. Did you add A19 equivalency application, A20 revision to the annual calendar of committee meetings, and A21 revision to the calendar of regular meetings for the board?
No, I missed those.
Okay, so we're going to add A19, A20, and A21.
I have a question. Armin, did you want to put in C3? I thought you said A through C. Did you include D?
No, A9, A through C. Motion A9, donations, A through C.
No, this was C3.
C3?
I only heard A through C. I was just wondering if that's what you said, or...
No, it's all.
Okay.
Yep, I just said C3 field trip applications.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, and I would like to pull out A17 and have a roll call done on that after we discuss everything else. Okay? Okay, so is there any discussion? I'm sorry, can I get a second?
Second.
Sammy seconded. All in favor on pulling out
Aye.
A17? Opposed? Okay, we're going to do a roll call on that in a minute. Is there any discussion on opening it for discussion. Okay, so is there any discussion on R1, M1, A1 through A18, B1 through B8, C1 through C12, P1 through P5, with A17 being taken out, including A19, A20, and 21?
I just had one comment on B03, letter D. If folks haven't read what that is going to be about, it's bringing back some of the trades learning into our school system, which we've sorely missed for quite some time. And I think that's going to be great to get a little bit of exposure to our kids to things that are working with their hands and their brains as well. But it's going to be pretty neat. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Dennis, do you have any questions, comments?
No, I'm good.
Walter?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Bill?
No?
Lori?
No, thank you.
Nishita?
No, thank you.
Sammy?
Just on that point that Mike made, are those programs going to be administered in our schools, and which trades are we talking about? I don't know much about it, I just want to know more.
I can answer that. So that is going to be in our alternative program. That's where we're going to start it. So that's at the Hamilton Street campus. It's the RTS Road to Success program, which is now going to have this component. And there's also a special ed program that runs concurrently with the alternative program at Hamilton Street, runs concurrently with the RTS program, which is a gen ed program. Those students will also be exposed to this opportunity. And this is a partnership between the two departments, Mr. Wilson's department that runs the RTS program and Dr. Sofield's department that runs the special needs program at Hamilton Street concurrently with the RTS program. And together, they are partnering with this group to bring this program to the RTS program. And then from there, we're going to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's great. Let's keep doing more of those.
Definitely sounds like a very cool program. Okay, so we are voting again. R1, M1, A1 through A21, B1 through B8, C1 through C12, P1 through P5, and we are pulling out A17. Can I get, just to confirm, a second?
I make a motion that we accept all except for A17. Someone say something?
What?
What's going on here?
I make a motion that we accept all of the items on the table with the exception of A17.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Nishita. Okay. Can you do roll call, please?
Ms. Desai?
Yes.
Mr. Grippo?
Yes.
Dr. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Maris?
Yes.
Mr. Shabbat?
Yes.
Yes, except I will abstain from A12 and A18 because I work as an employee for YMCA, so I'm not going to vote on these two.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. LaCourte?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And now, can I get a motion to move A17?
So moved.
Moved by Ardeman, seconded by Sammy. Okay, any discussion? Sammy? Nishita? Lori?
No, thank you.
Bill? Walter?
No.
Dennis?
No.
Mike? Ardeman?
No.
Okay, can you do roll call, please? Brian?
Ms. Desai?
Yes.
Mr. Grippo?
Yes.
Dr. Hopkins?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
Yes.
Ms. Maris?
Yes.
Mr. Shaban?
Yes.
Ms. Singh?
I will abstain again because I was not here for the entire hearing.
Dr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. LaCourte?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. And now we are on to comments from the public on any topic. Can I get a motion to open public comment?
So moved.
Moved by Mike, seconded by
Second.
Nishida. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, public comment on any topic is now open.
And I second that.
Motion closed, public comment by Bill, seconded by Dennis. All in favor?
Nancy, just to confirm, that there's nobody on the phone, right?
No, we don't, after January 1st,
Oh, that's it?
there's no more call-ins.
All right.
All in favor? Opposed? Public comment on any topic is now closed. Bill, do you have anything for the good of the order?
Just that the music presentations that were held in January for all the different music departments and arts departments were fantastic, especially the band night. And then this weekend, the Tim Walton's having a showcase at the high school. It's more of a vocal showcase. And then Sampson, we having its play, its annual play, and the dance performance last Friday night was excellent. So there's a lot of good things happening in the district that you want to take a look at.
Thank you. Lori, do you have anything for the good of the order?
No, thank you.
Nishida?
No, thank you.
Sammy?
Yeah, I just wanted to extend a thank you to all the programming that Dr. Ravalli and Dr. Loughran are leading for inclusion. Being a person that grew up as a sort of a darker person in a very white neighborhood, feeling included was very, very important, and I didn't have that type of support. At least I didn't feel like I had that type of support. So I commend you on those efforts, especially that we're the second most diverse district in New Jersey. It's paramount for us to do that, and the fact that we're taking so many strides, I'm very proud of that initiative, and I fully support it, and I just wanted to extend my thank you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Mike?
Nope, thanks.
Dennis?
Just to somewhat piggyback what Sammy just said, as we just celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday, as we that was part of his dream, that we as not be judged by the color of our skin, but by our content of our character. And just the next time the board meets, we'll be in the midst of having Black History Month almost over, and just to reflect back with what that particular population of people gave to America, and look forward to seeing and hearing about the good things that is happening within the district during that time.
Thank you. Walter?
Yeah, I have something. So I have a quote. Chloe's going to like this from Misty Copeland. Anything is possible when you have the right people there to support you. So I personally today want to thank Franklin Strong for supporting my wife. Today she defended her dissertation and she passed. And she was stressing, trust me, she was stressing. But the support from Franklin, I'm definitely not going to get into names because I was on the sideline, she was on the field, so she'll do that later. But the support that she got from a lot of people in Franklin definitely helped her get through this process. So I know she'll at some point thank those individuals personally, but I'm just collectively thanking Franklin for supporting my wife and my family during this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations to Reverend Dr. Katina Blackman-Jackson. Really proud of her. Artemis, do you have anything for the good of the order?
I do. I actually had the honor of listening to Amal Clooney this afternoon, and there were three nuggets that she shared, and I felt that they would be really useful for our community in Franklin, for our kids, and for the adults. So I wanted to share those The first one was, she said, "Don't be crippled by a fear of failure. Don't let failure be your excuse for not trying." The second one was, "People, especially women, are hard on themselves. Find the balance. Don't get hung up on perfection." And the third one, "Our legacy are the people we raise and leave behind. Teach them to be kind." So let's teach our kids to be kind. Thank you.
Thank you. Yesterday was National Kindness Day, which is kind of funny because we should actually be kind every single day. So it kind of piggyback off of that. And basically on what you guys were saying, we offer a lot of programs and we're proud of the programs, and it takes the staff to administer the programs, but it takes the kids to want the programs. We've changed some things because of kids, because of their voices, and sometimes even down to elementary schools about pizza. So, we do listen to what the kids have to say, and to what the staff has to say, and to what the parents have to say. And piggybacking off of Dennis's message about Dr. King, the theme of this year's, because Martin Luther King Foundation every year has a theme, and their theme this year was building a team. So again, we're taking it back to that village, because it's the board, the staff, the administration, the parents, the kids, and the community working for the kids. So with that, we're adjourned.